What up, what up, what up, sports fans all over the world? It is your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guys, the Horsemen, Zion Zenith, Adam Costas, and of course, y'all know the one, the only NYG Jeffy T standing right here up in the corner, overlooking us all so beautifully right now. Can't believe it's been a year, bro. I cannot believe it's been a year, man. But this is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go.
What's going on? What's going on? Back at it again on another Friday night. We got Alex, Big Blue in the Bunks in the building. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, Big Blue crew. We got Daniel. Thank you so much and happy Friday to you, my friend. As my co-host Matt mentioned, it is coming up this weekend of Jeffy. He, lost a good one, but he's in a better place now, and it's coming up on his year anniversary. That being said, we're we dedicate every show to him, but this one is just gonna be like a special. So keep it 100, guys, we are gonna have our main topics when it comes to sports, but we might drift off here or there and talk about a lot of things that either we didn't talk about for a long time, or maybe get into some maybe comedy or entertainment topics. That being said, like always, I'm gonna
And
ask my
real quick
co-host.
before you move on, I just
Absolutely.
wanted to add something to that. On
Yes, sir.
Wednesday, on the Hardcore Sports Network, you'll also be able to do a special dedication show for Jeff. They doing a special for him, Earl Cole's wrestling experience Wednesday. I can't remember exactly what time. Usually around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So that'll you can make sure everybody tune in for that too, man. Be a special dedication to Jeff for his Memorial Year anniversary. Just everybody everybody love Jeff, man. No matter what, we gonna always love Jeff, man. He's a super dope person. Anybody ever got to know him would understand why our feelings are so strong for Jeffrey Turner, man. So just tune in Wednesday as well, and definitely keep it locked right here tonight, man. We gonna keep bringing that heat. All right, back to
That's
the
a
music.
hundred. That's 100. And that being said, before I give the mic to Adam, I am gonna say this: Hardcore Sports Network link is right in the description below. On Wednesday, like Mike said, make sure you guys go check out their network. It's probably already up there. They bring us this show live, and they're a big reason why we like to come together on Friday nights as well. So shout out to the Hardcore Sports Network. Shout out to Big Blue Crew. Shout out to Jeffrey T. I'm gonna pass the mic over to Adam real quick. Go right ahead, Adam.
I'm going to say thank you to Jeffrey because you learn a lot from somebody, even more so when they're, unfortunately they pass. You realize how much they meant to you. And he was a guy that you can call up and talk and boost your confidence and, get you down get you up when you're in the dumps. And there are not many like him. And so I wanted to just take a moment to say thank you and that we appreciate you. We miss you. The guy had the most honest energy that I could ever tell you, right? And what I mean by honest energy is he was passionate about sports. And in no matter what, people loved him because he didn't challenge you with name calling, he didn't challenge you with yelling over you. He just challenged you intellectually to get the conversation going. He was one of the guys that we call an elevator, a guy that would bring you to the top because of what he did and how selfless he was and the way that he would navigate the conversation. Learned a lot from that man. Just wanted to say thank you and pay a little tribute to him as it just hit me a few days ago. Like, damn, we are around at this time last year, and just wanted to make sure people still, remember him, and hopefully we keep making him proud and keep his legacy going. So, thank you.
Yeah, he was absolutely, he brought energy every time he was on the show. You know what I'm saying? He was a Knicks fan, a diehard. He
Man, he
would
would
have
have loved this playoff
he
series.
would have loved
Nets.
this
He was a
this
Nets fan.
playoffs.
He was a Nets fan.
Oh, sorry,
He
sorry,
still,
Nets
he
fan.
still
I,
would
I,
have
I
loved
said
the
he
series.
would he was a Nets fan, but he still would have loved New York in the
Oh yeah,
series. And
absolutely. He would
and
have loved watching
honestly,
that team this year.
yeah, to be honest too, I remember when last year when like even Miami got in, like he was super excited coming from New York, obviously that was where I ran. You don't really like Miami, but that being said, he was excited for me, and actually his energy through that text messages and when we talked on the phone was always so positive, and he will never be forgotten, and forever he'll always have a seat on this show, never be replaced. That being said, guys, like Max said, please go check out the Hardcore Sports on Wednesday. I believe it might be a call in. I'm not too sure. I have to go check on that myself. Don't hold me to that. But where you can come on and you can say your piece about Jeff, because I guarantee you a lot of people were affected from him one way or another, whether they realize it or not. That being said, guys, we are going to open up with the NBA playoffs. I know it is a good series, man. A lot of shockers. I was leaning really aggressively on OKC, and then they absolutely got demolished by a Mavericks team that started playing team basketball. And shout out to PJ Washington, man, totally taking advantage, and that's what you need in playoffs. You need a role player to kind of put out more effort into a way of play better to actually take a young, hungry team like the Thunder out. But not only was the Thunder eliminated, you have the defending reigning champions, the Denver Nuggets, also defeated by the Timberwolves, another hungry team led by a young, hungry superstar in Anthony Edwards. But that being said, both series totally shocked me, and I'm gonna want to touch on these series before we move on to the other side. So Thunder versus Mavericks. I'm gonna start by just saying this: Luca and Kyrie finally figured it out with PJ Washington, and they started just working as a unit. And I can't forget about Guilford and there's a lot of role players on that team that can contribute when they need to contribute. PJ Washington is totally stepping up right now, but a lot of the bench players are scoring points when they absolutely need to. I have to be completely honest with you. I didn't really watch most of these games. I watched them when I could, but I'm gonna have to pass the mic over to Adam first, and I want to hear his thoughts. If he did watch, what did he think about the Thunders and the Mavericks series, and then pass the mic over to Mac. Let's get it.
What I thought about that series is that Kyrie Irving stepped up, and that's really what happened. Is once they had no answer for the Dallas Mavericks. They played defense, they score. When Luka and Irving are on together, it's almost unstoppable what they can do. And like you said, when those two guys do well, the role players do well. And I think we underestimated Dallas. And towards the end of the year, there was some turmoil and some things. Will this work out? Are they going to be one and done in the playoffs? They're not going to go that far. And here they are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Right now, they're losing the game, but I expected that. But who thought they were going to win the game one?
I feel in the house.
Right. So even though OKC will, and I think what happened was OKC lost. They lost the game because of lack of experience. Sometimes, you get guys like Kyrie Irving and Luka, and they've been in the playoffs. They've been in big time games. They understand how to win down the stretch, and that's what happened. And I just think OKC kind of just, the pressure got to them a little bit. It's nothing big. It happens to the best of us. They're a young team facing a veteran team that's supposed to be in this position. That's why you got a guy like Kyrie Irving, and here you are now for game one against the Timberwolves. I thought it was very interesting how they stole game one, and what they did to the Timberwolves, who, everyone was talking all that mess about, what they were doing and how it looked. No, man, they came and handled their business. Now, tonight, we don't know what's going to happen, but again, they came back in game one to steal a victory. Let's see if they do the same thing here. If they do the same thing here, then, the Timberwolves could be in trouble, because going to Dallas down 2-0, it's going to be pretty hard to come back from. I mean, they really stormed back. If you look at it, Timberwolves took an early lead, and then, the Mavericks kind of came back, and then they were neck and neck in the third quarter, and then, in the fourth quarter, just blow for blow, and it ends up that the Mavericks take the game, and it just goes to show you, like you said, PJ Washington, 7 rebounds, 41 minutes. He's a defender. So that's why he's out there. 13 points. Derek Jones, giving you 8 points in 35 minutes, 10 points. Luka with 33, Kyrie Irving with 30. When those two guys drop 30 and 33 respectively, you're losing the game. That's just going to happen. That's just how good they are. And then what did they do? They make guys like PJ Washington better. They make guys like Daniel Gifford better, right? And they make guys like Derek Levy better, because if you look at those guys, they're doing the rebounding, they're cleaning up the glass. Levi had 11 boards. PJ Washington had 7 boards. Those points, those are what you need. Those hustle plays, and I think the Timberwolves again, experience. You got a young team. The longest tenured guy is, I think, Big Cat, Karl Anthony Towns. So,
Yeah, he is.
He's been to a couple playoff series, but nothing this deep. But everybody else,
He's the best roster that they basically surrounded him with, and I think it's basically he's the veteran that was the young star, right? And then now
yes.
it's Anthony Edwards, now the young star, and it's almost like I'm gonna pass you the baton, but I'm still gonna be contribute to this team. You know what I'm saying? In a big way, because Towns is the I don't want to take anything away from your take, but I just say the way the Timberwolves are playing is beautiful to watch. Continue.
What I'm saying is, Karl Anthony Towns can now be the Robin, because now he has a Batman, right? And I think he plays a better Batman than a Robin. I mean, better Robin than a Batman, because he's a unique player, right? He's 7 feet. He can shoot the 3. He's from New Jersey. Gotta love that, right? He's only 28 years old, but again, he hasn't had a lot around him to work with with this team. This is the first team that he had a lot of good talent. So he's been a 4-time NBA All-Star. He's a 2-time All-NBA third team. So this kid deserves the accolades he's getting. He's been in the league a long time. So one of the good big men in the game that rarely gets looked at. This guy is 7 feet. He's in the 3-point contest. I mean, that is ridiculous, So he finally gets a player. Let's see if they can hold up their end. Anthony Edwards, he's looking good. Kind of stumbled out in game 1, but he'll bounce back in this game. And I think they need to just hold serve, take a game in Dallas, and get it to a game 7 in your building. That's how I look at it. Just always have elimination game in your building, so you at least are home and comfortable. If they go down 2-0, I don't know how they're going to keep pace in this series. I really don't. You're muted, Zion.
Sorry. Do you have any thoughts about the Nuggets and the Timberwolves? I'm sorry. Yeah, Nuggets and Timberwolves before you pass it over to Matt.
Nuggets and Timberwolves? You mean?
Of that series, the way that went.
Oh, well, the Denver Nuggets, they got outclassed, by a younger team that wasn't scared. That wasn't scared of them, And let's be honest, they outplayed them, and they went into their building and they won the game, and they said, you know what, it's our house now. Watch us as we go to the championship. And I do believe the Nuggets were a bit tired, and I know that this is not what people want to hear, but when you go back-to-back seasons, deep runs into the playoffs, it does wear you down. And I think that's what happens with a lot of these teams. You play 120 basketball games a year, you get 3 months off to recover, and then you're back at it. So when you do that for back-to-back seasons, it catches up with you. And when you're young, like the Timberwolves, who've never been to the playoffs, this is new to them, right? So I just think sometimes destiny's on your side, and that's what was on the side of Minnesota. Congratulations to them. Obviously, Zion just wanted me to give a couple thoughts. Those are my thoughts. I'll give the game. I've talked too much. Mac, your turn.
Well said. Before you go, Mac, I do want to say, Miz, hopefully everything is all right. It says that you're flying back up, and I know you live in Florida now. You're flying back to New Jersey. Hopefully, I will pray for your father. Hopefully, he's okay. And yes, I'll prayers with you. Go right ahead, Matt.
I mean, as far as Dallas and OKC, it's just a case. Like you said, Adam, you said it best. OKC is a good, talented young team, but that's what they are. They're young, not a lot of experience there, not very battle tested. And let's face it, man, Luka's in the top 1%. of superstars in the NBA, man. Right now, Luka is he's a different kind of animal. I mean, Kyrie is really good, awesome at what he brings to the table. But Luka's in the top 1%, man. I mean, 29, 10 and 10 in a closeout game. That's a superstar showing up and putting his team on his back. In a closeout game, he said, we're not letting this series go back to Oklahoma City for a game 7. We're going to take care of this in our building on game 6 in Dallas. And that's what you did. They went it did and they handled their business, man. And this is they're a good young team. Got a good nucleus, and they got 2 superstars that they can build around in Kyrie and Luka, man. So this is how I feel about that series right there with the Dallas Mavericks. As far as going forward with them right now in Minnesota, off to got out there, off to another good start in this series as well, taking game 1 in Minnesota. So it's like just another team, like you said. This is just once again a superstar showing up. Kyrie, Luka, like you said, Adam, just going out there and putting their team on their back. And granted, it took the effort of Kyrie Irving and Luka like that, both scoring over 30 points, and they still just kind of got by in that game 1. But at the end of the day, they still got the job done, and that's really all that matters. There ain't no style points about the W. It's just about getting the W, no matter how you get it. And Denver.
But they did it on the road.
Denver.
So that's why.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's just there's no style points. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? The point is they got the job. They accomplished what they needed to accomplish, and that's really what it all comes down to. They flipped the home court advantage by taking that game, by taking that. So now even if they drop this one tonight, they go back. They still got 2 coming up in Dallas. The next 2 will be coming up in Dallas. So they're still gonna have Timberwolves on their heels. As far as Denver goes, I think Denver screwed up. I mean, I hear you with the tire thing and the fatigue thing. Like you said, 2 long, deep playoff runs like that can definitely wear on you physically as well as mentally. And I mean, pressure's on your back, but Denver did themselves no favor in this series by getting off to a 0-2 start in this series, losing the first 2 at home. That really put their backs against the walls, and they really had to fight and claw back. And I know they took the next 3 straight and looked like they were getting ready to maybe potentially win 4 straight and end that series. But at the end of the day, the Dallas Mavericks just came. I mean, the Minnesota Timberwolves just came rolling back, man. Came roaring back, and Game 7 they got the job done, man. In Denver, and hats off to them. Denver had control of that game most of the way. And the Minnesota Timberwolves still swooped in at the end of that game and took the lead and did what they had to do and hung on and got the job done. So hats off to them, man. That's really all I got, man. I unfortunately just haven't been able to pay much attention. This work schedule's been crazy, so.
Yeah, well, Gucci. Well said, well said. All right, that being said, let's move over to the other side. We got the Eastern Conference. We had the Celtics. We all kind of knew this was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Superstars on both ends with the Tatum and the Brown. They bring in Porzingis, even though he is injured. You got a veteran that been on the team for a long time in Horford. You know what I'm saying? That held it down. And then Derek White, as always, but I can't even forget about all the role players that really contribute and really play a big part in this team's success. And if you look at the other side, I would have said even if the Knicks was to get in this spot, it would have been tough, being that the other side, all 4 teams, the 76ers, the Bucks included, you know what I'm saying, would have hit the last gas when it comes to a team like Boston that could just go out there and just put up points. Now, I will say this, shout out to the Indiana Pacers, man. They did take it to overtime in game 1, but you could see in that whole game that they're playing from behind, sometimes by a lot. But Boston Celtics clearly did their job, up 2-0, and let's see if they can go back and then they can. I believe they're at the Pacers arena next if they can still a game there, and I believe this is done in 6 and Boston will move down. I will give the Pacers some heart because they are a young team. Great all-around pieces when they need to. They got TJ McConnell coming off of the bench, can put buckets down. A lot of people think he should start. I think he should start, but I'm not a coach. The rotation that they got seems to, has been working up into going against the Celtics, but I know the young, smart team, and they're finding a way to figure out a game plan to try to stop this Boston attack. And, It's scary, man. When you go against a team like Boston and the Miami Heat, I'm gonna find a way to bring my team in every single time. When the Miami Heat had some of the best defense in most categories by the end of the season, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going out there and saying we was the best defense, but we played zone really, 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 really good, and we was a really respected defense, and they shut us down. All right. You got the Celtics, and I get it. I get it. We was injured, but I'm not gonna take that excuse. They shut us down. All right. Look at the Cavaliers. You got a superstar in Devontae Mitchell. You got a lot of stories around him. That roster is fully loaded. It didn't fucking matter. And then you look at the Pacers. It's like you got a young superstar coming up in Tyrese, and it's like energy drained. Like congratulations, you took them to overtime. It doesn't fucking matter. It does not matter against the Boston Celtics, and they're gonna represent the East. I don't see any how Indiana comes out of this. No chance. And I don't say that usually lightly, but it's been Boston. Everybody kind of knew it by fucking the middle of the season. Actually, when all these fucking Boston podcasts had them going at the start of the season. So that being said, though, it seems to be their year. So I don't give a fuck who makes it. The Mavericks are the Thunderbirds. Boston's year, and they're gonna probably take the finals, take the crown. And I'm gonna put it on the line right here. I'm having Boston to win it all this year because Tatum and Brown been fucking playing, and they got defeated. By who? The Heat. They got defeated by us, you know. I'm a Heat fan. They got defeated by Heat. You know what I'm saying? It happens. It happens. It's okay. We'll go and play against the Lakers in the bubble. We go and play against the Nuggets. It's okay. We'll take the championship spots. It's fine. But now they're revenge, bro. And they've been revenge mode since the first round. That being said, they're aiming for the finals. They're like fucking dismiss this little kid Pacers shit, and we'll go into the finals. And I know I disrespected a bunch of Pacers fans and shit, but who knows? Anything can happen because I don't know shit. I'm just the guy that does the podcast on Friday nights. Go right ahead, whoever wants to open that up.
Look, Boston Celtics, man. Look, right now, off to a hot start in this series against the Indiana Pacers. But at the end of the day, I'm still not going to just completely rule out the fact that Indiana could somehow battle their way back into this series. Boston could somehow still Boston themselves, so to speak, if that makes any sense. I mean, they could still do it.
Respect.
It's just the way this team operates from time to time, man. But right now, it's not looking all that great for Indiana. And I do see what you're saying. I kind of hear what you're saying, Zion. But I think, and I don't like the sour grapes. You call it sour grapes, whatever. I think a healthy Knicks team could have made all of this whole conversation completely different. But unfortunately, the Knicks are what they are, and they were a team that was pretty much finally that ran out of gas. Finally, Indiana Pacers, hats off to them, took care of business in those last couple of games of that series, really closing the Knicks out in game 6 and 7 with two very big wins, huge victories. But I think a healthy Knicks team would have made this whole thing a whole lot different, even for the Boston Celtics as well. Boston looks like they probably are going to come out of the East, but I'm not sure if they really had the moxie to take on whoever comes out of the West. To be quite frank, I'm just not quite sure if I can put that kind of belief in the Boston Celtics based off of past history of what we've seen with this basketball team. So, are they ready to shut people like me up and maybe prove that they got what it takes? We may find out. But right now, they still got Indiana standing in the way. And even though they up 2-0, the series is going back to Indiana right now. And Indiana's been playing out of their mind at home, as we saw in that Knicks series. So things could change up a little bit, and it could like I said, they could get back in the series and make things a little bit exciting going down the stretch. So that's really all I got.
Well said, well said. Right over to you, Matt. Adam.
I think the Pacers gave Boston their best shot in game one to steal a game if they were trying to take this series over. They went to overtime. Um, I think that Rick Carlisle will make adjustments. They'll play better at home. What I will say is this: Pacers aren't afraid of Boston Celtics, and if they get the momentum back like they did when they played the Knicks, remember the Knicks were up 2-0. They came back. They got blown. They win a squeaker in game 3, and then they blow them out in game 4, and all of a sudden the series is back. The Knicks take it in 5, Pacers win again, then up to game 7. So in the Pacers' mindset, they're like, we've been in this position before. We just got to hold serve at our house and get to game 7 because we know we can take them to overtime. We know that we can make the adjustments necessary, and I think the Pacers match up pretty solidly against Boston. I just think sometimes, like if you look at the scores in the box scores, and the first one was they lost by 16 points, 126 to 110 in game 2. But in game 1, they lost in overtime by about 6 points, 5 points, 128 to 133. So that tells me right there that you were a couple of shots away from winning the game and that you're not afraid of Boston. So if they can get the win in game 3 and somehow squeak out a game 4 victory as well, and square up the Celtics, they'll have a chance because Rick Carlisle's brand of basketball really helps. It opens up shots, and if you're late on your defense because you're double teaming or something like that, that's where the Pacers can be deadly because they have that. They make that extra pass, and this they don't get bullied the same way they got bullied against the Knicks. So I think with some adjustment, some home cooking, they're going to probably crawl back into the series. I do agree with you. Boston probably will ultimately end up winning. And the thing is, there's not a powerhouse coming out of the West. It's not like Golden State, it's not like the Denver Nuggets or anything like that. We got the 6th seed and the 3rd seed playing. It's not like, and teams that are obscure to championship runs in terms of Minnesota, and Dallas hasn't had a run in a long time since Dirk Nowitzki was in his prime. So, these teams you're not seeing at the end every year. So it's not like Boston, who we do see at the end of every year, doesn't have a chance to play them. I think they match up well with both teams. Both teams have legitimate scores. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves have a slightly better bigs, which might help them. Rudy Gobert can really, I wouldn't say dominate's the right word, but if he turns it on, he can be a good.
Definitely a way better matchup because I don't see Kyrie and Luka. Like, no offense against Luka being an MVP, and I don't want to take anything away from your point. I'm gonna just make it fast. Is like I see Boston can making runs on them because of the playmakers that can rebound the ball and that can shoot threes. Like nothing against the Mavericks, but I don't see them shooting threes as efficient and rebounding the ball as efficient against Boston than what the Timberwolves can do. Continue though.
Right. Size, bigs are going to matter in this series, in that series. And I think the team with the better bigs and the better rebounding will end up winning the game ultimately because that'll give your stars more opportunities to get the ball. And when the stars have more opportunity to get the ball, they score more. So there's that. So,
on that point real quick. I'm sorry, real quick on that point. I'm sorry as well, Adam. I don't keep cutting you off too, but that's where I do believe in the superstar value that Luka and Kyrie bring to the table as opposed. And there's nothing against Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but I just feel like from a superstar, the superstars you can depend on more. I can depend. I feel like I can depend more on Luka.
True.
Luka's going to get his own
facts.
rebound. Luka's going to create his own second shots.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what he does. So I just
he's gonna get that and one for that point.
The stars are going to show up more. For me, I believe more in those superstars. Not taking anything away from Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I just believe in like what Luka and them bring to the table a little bit more when it comes to that. I know everybody's hungry and they all want it. I just that's just how I feel about that when it comes to those kind of matchups. But sorry.
Well, it's okay. I actually want to see Dallas win because I'd like to see Luka get a championship because that will really cement him in the legacy of the annals of all-time greats.
I read that as well.
And the Minnesota Timberwolves, you got a young Anthony Edwards. You're going to be around for a while, man. As long as you keep that nucleus together, you'll be right. You'll be seeing championships sooner rather than later. As long as you're not like the Sacramento Kings who are a flash in the pan, you know what I mean? But
Miami is always available, Anthony.
All I'm saying is I don't want to sound like a loser because that's a loser mentality. Go for the gold always, right? But I'm saying if somehow you end up in disappointment, and you have to think about disappointment sometimes because that is part of the reality. The reality is hopefully you have a better chance of going than Luka and Kyrie who have a smaller window and may not have a chance. And I'd rather see a guy who doesn't get the praise that he deserves because the teams that he's on aren't always the greatest. And for him to get a championship would just put him in that conversation and hopefully get him more notoriety than he already has. He's already a famous player, but you get him a championship ring, and look what it did for Dirk Nowitzki and his legacy and things like that. So
I honestly feel that to that point. I would just check. I don't know if he was done talking.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
All right. To that point, what Mac brought up too is like, and I want to get on another point after that, but I'm gonna touch on that. That's such a good point because we just got done talking about it a couple episodes ago. It's like if you really look at the next generation, like who is really, you look at the triangle, who is really at that top pyramid level, right? It's your Jokic's of the world, Joker. It's Giannis. It's Luka, right? That's the big three, And if you really think about it, both of the big three, when Giannis won his first championship, it solidified him as the best player in the league. Obviously, he's had every playoffs after, but focusing on that, he's still dominant through the regular season. 11K, 12K on DraftKings, like best player in the league style. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Jokic, solidified him. It was a longer road, but what solidified him was the championship, multiple MVP seasons now. And then when you look at Luka, it's like the whole league kind of knows that like Luka is the one. And Mac brought up a perfect point, and Adam said it perfectly too. It's like, dude, if he gets this championship, it is Luka's league. Like, I'm sorry, Jokic. I know you're MVP. I'm sorry, Giannis, but he does it all. I mean, like, he gets for a guy that is Chinese. I just looked him up. I thought he was 26, but he's only 25. Like, Luka is still young. He is 25, and I don't know what they do in other countries, but when they come here, it's like, damn. Like, that being said, though,
I mean, they start them in Europe at a young age. Those kids are playing.
And unlike Victor, I'm sorry, nothing to take away against Victor, because Victor's a beast. Victor's a boss. He showed it his first year. I want to say this though: Luka was playing professional basketball before he came over. I think Mac wanted to say something.
No, I was just
going to say that. Yeah, they start young, like Adam was saying. They got guys over there playing professional basketball, 16 years old over.
Right, and they don't stop. And then that's why they have how they get drafted and they have to wait a year. It's because they have to play their contract out in like Europe.
17 playing against grown men and shit.
And sometimes it helps you develop.
That's why the Olympics, the U.S. Olympic national team used to only be comprised of college kids back in the day, man. That's why they had to go up and get the big boys, get the dream teams, because the college kids couldn't compete with those European guys over there, who were professional athletes over there in Europe. They couldn't. They just weren't ready to compete with those guys. So they had to. The U.S. had to do what they do best, and they had to figure out a way to take out the competition. So
okay.
Bring the NBA guys in. Come on, Jordan, Bird. Come on, Magic. All you guys. Come on, let's go.
Hey, Jordan.
Let's go. Let's get some gold for the U.S.
We're going to show the world what Jordan and Bird and Magic really mean. And they went over there and they annihilated those teams. They annihilated them. It was funny because you hear those stories. Like, there will never be another dream team. I'm sorry. Everyone wants that was comprised arguably of some of the greatest superstars of all time on that particular team. We had Thomas Barkley.
Except for Christian Laettner.
Yeah, except
what's going on, Joseph?
One guy that they put on the team so they could be in amateur status, right? They needed one guy from the college ranks who happened to win a national title, and they're like, "Yo, put you on the team, and we qualify as a non-pro team." It's like, okay, great. Oh man, but yeah, except for Christian Laettner, there's a lot of great players on there. But they were coached by I think it was Chuck Daly.
All Hall of Famers.
Yeah, so.
The first dream was Chuck Daly, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they had a great fucking team. Like, we're talking about Jordan, Bird, Pippen, Magic. Like, these guys that we talk about right now in folklore, that was the team. All comprised. You know what the viewership was for that dream team? My God, they were blowing viewership out the water because people just wanted to chime in and see. And they annihilated teams. They didn't just beat them. They beat them badly. And that's when it was like, all right, we got it. Badly.
One of the highlights of the Olympics that year, 1992 in Barcelona, that was too. 92, we going on that. was when they played. The U.S. team played Angola, a little small country over in Africa, and they played Angola, and they beat the living shit out of them. And Angola was just happy to be on the floor. They were just happy to share the floor with those guys at that point. Where even at the end, they were still like trying to get autographs. And they after getting the living shit beat out of them.
Damn.
That was one of the highlights of that Olympic Games for me. Was just that. That's the impact the U.S. national team had.
You'll never forget
the
that.
Olympics. That first dream, like Adam said, you'll never see another original dream team. Ever.
And they don't
do
it
surprise like that ever again.
And I think they have a dream team going over this year, but it's not the same. A lot of aging stars. It's not going to ever have the same luster as it did in '92 because that was the first time we brought professionals. Because even in hockey, they were doing that shit. They were, the Russians were professional athletes over there, right? Everyone did it, and we're like, oh, let's send out our college kids because that's a great. And then now, don't get me wrong, some of them you want to be amateur athletes. I mean, Simone Biles is in the Olympics. That you don't get that much time, right? So when you're in there. Usually you want amateurs from high school age to, college age, and then you kind of get yourself out. But these countries, they start these kids at like 10 in these leagues, or even younger. And these kids work their way up, and the good ones get weeded out and get to the professional leagues. And by the time the U.S. assembles it, we always got smoked. So now no one can catch up to us, and it's not that some can't win because there was one year where they had a couple NBA stars on their team. I think it was Argentina or something like that. They had like Manu Ginobili and a couple other players on the team. And they kind of gave the U.S. team a run for their money. And it'll never be the same, man. It'll never be the same. But I like the Olympics. I hope I root for our country, and let's win the medal count. I like to be top gold. This is what I want. Overall medal, which means you get the most medals for a country, but I also want the number one.
Why are you breaking it down like that?
What? I want
the way you said it is like, which means overall. That was just funny the way you said it.
Because
in case people don't know,
they have a total medal count where you're like get like.
Yeah, I know, but you're explaining it like you're talking to like 5-year-olds.
Like 100 events,
just in case people don't know.
Right, they get 100 events. I want 100 medals, right? But
yes,
I want predominantly. I want 75 of those medals to be gold. I'm just because I take pride. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the U.S. does usually win the medal count.
For
what it's worth, the U.S. is the country that wins the medal count.
We've been caught by like Chinese and Germany and stuff. Like we need to be dominant, man. We should get a gold in every.
You gotta respect the athletes.
Yeah, man.
Russia's got some great athletes. They gotta get some great athletes.
Listen.
So those are the countries usually that are pretty much on the U.S.
You're trying to win gold medals.
You know what America is made of? The world, Adam. We all migrated here.
Yeah, but you know what's happening? People in America are now going back to their countries. And
unless you're Native American, I apologize.
Even in the playing field.
This is your land.
Right? So anyways, listen. This is what I want from the U.S. team. I want all the damn medals. I'm greedy. That's what I am. Okay. I want to be that person that walks up to the Olympic Committee and says, "See, we want the Olympics here because we are the best. We got 75 out of."
I don't think we're beating anybody in fencing. I mean, maybe we might. I might be wrong on that.
Listen,
other countries are pretty good at fencing.
You better watch out for fencing.
Skateboarding.
You better watch out.
Brazil skateboarders, man, they're pretty good.
I don't even know.
I'm talking about you said all the sports. So let's break it down to the detail of these smaller sports.
Friggin', they have 7-on-7 flag football now as Olympic sport.
Yes,
so if we don't win that, gold medal in that,
that would be embarrassing. That would be embarrassing.
I'm quitting football. I'm quitting.
Oh man, we lose American football against the world. That's good.
And that's what's going to happen too. Some upstart from like Australia is going to beat us, right? And we're going to not even medal. We're not even going to qualify because of stupidity, because we go out there with beer guts and like, whoa, cool, So we're gonna have some.
Oh man, if there was an eating competition,
why don't they bring NFL players over there? They can bring some NFL players to the Olympics. Bring the Gardner Minshews of the world. Maybe Daniel.
I would love to see that, but I think the NFL would never allow it. I mean, like you can't even play basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Although I wouldn't want Daniel Jones representing our country in the
I don't think he can't make the promo. I don't think he'll qualify for the Olympics.
He may not even make the Olympic team. I would want to try out for the Olympic team if they were doing that. I'd be like, let's try out, okay? 7-on-7. You have 3 quarterbacks: Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, and like Daniel Jones. Let's hope that Daniel doesn't make the team. I'm just kidding.
That being said, before we move on.
I wouldn't want to win a gold medal. Although maybe if we were playing cornhole and they made that Olympic sport, then maybe I'd want Daniel Jones because I hear he's a great cornhole player. You know what it means if you're a great cornhole player? You drink a lot of beer and get drunk. So go Daniel. Go find your calling. You don't need to be an athlete to play cornhole. Go do it. Be professional.
I don't even think he'll beat the top cornhole players right now, and the kid's like 14 and he's 6 every hole.
He will be. He did come out and announce that he will be ready to go week 1. He said he'll be ready to go week 1. He's participated in 7-on-7 drills through the OTAs. So we'll see.
He probably will, and we'll
got to give him one more chance, I suppose.
We will get to that, though. We'll get to that. I will want to say this real fast. Shout out to Jaylen Brown at the end of that game 1 before they took it to overtime. The second point I wanted to make is he fires up a 3-point one for the ages. You know what I'm saying? One that is just by playoffs made. I like for the playoffs for the history books. You know what I'm saying? I believe that was Tyrese draped all over him. Obviously, he didn't foul, but that was a beautiful shot, and it sinks it. Tyrese tries to come back the other way. Obviously, he misses, but he gets into overtime, and Boston steals it out. But, the moments that the Boston Celtics are having, that Jaylen Brown moment, I just didn't want to forget to bring that up. So, shout out to them, and we'll see what happens.
What's that peak? What's that peak moment? And what is that? What's their magic? You used your get out of jail free card game 1 to save your season. You only have so much. You only have a certain number of those that you hit in the playoffs, and your luck runs out, and then the other teams, shots fall. It's like when we play. It's like when we talk about winning close games, right? They're like, oh, the ball didn't bounce our way. Well, guess what? That happens where the probability is you're probably going to go the other way, just because that's the law of averages. So.
That's absolutely facts. And then when the home card is in it, like you guys are saying in Indiana, we'll see. It might open up. The air opened up at the Denver Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Let's see what happens in this series. Moving on. I know this is Jeff's.
By the way, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, by the way, the game right now, game 2, Dallas, Minnesota is at halftime right now. Minnesota up 60-48 right now at the half. 12-point lead at the half for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
If I'm Minnesota, I'm scared because Dallas came back from a deficit last year, and I'm just if you're Timberwolves, you got to keep the heat on, man. You got to keep the heat on.
Absolutely facts. Thank you, Mac, for that update. And let's get on. And I know this is one of Jeff's favorite topics. He always kept us in the know who's dropping, who's getting picked up, who's moving on to New Japan or all these different other companies. And he was always in the loop of this next topic. And I know, I haven't been kept watching it that much. I've been ultra casual. But that being said, I know the boys maybe want to dabble in this a little bit, and I know Jeff would love to be dabbled in this. That being said, we are going to talk about King and Queen of the Ring this Saturday night, May 21st, I believe, live on Peacock. I'm just going to leave it at this screen, and I'm going to just have
May 25th
open it up. Let's get it.
So it's kind of interesting because King of the Ring for me back in the day, and I'm sorry if you wanted to speak first, Mac, I didn't mean to jump in, but for King of the Ring for me,
no, go ahead, bro.
One of the up-and-coming matches, growing up in the mid-'90s, right? King of the Ring. That's where we got Austin 316 says, I just kicked your ass. One of the greatest promo cuts of all time.
Time out. Is this Vengeance Day? Is this Night of Champions?
No, this is totally different.
I don't know. They changed the name so much, all these pay-per-views that I
mean, Night of Champions is not the same because every champion's fighting on Night of Champions.
Okay.
That's where, or at least that's what the gimmick is supposed to be. King of the Ring is a tournament that you go through. It's almost like a bracket, and you have guys on one side, guys on the other, And like I said, one of the most iconic promos ever cut was with King of the Ring, Austin. You read your Bibles, your John 3:16s. Well, Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass right on the spot, right? And so for me, that history means something. So I'm glad they're having King of the Ring. I'm glad they went through a tournament. It used to be a pay-per-view tournament. I don't know if Mac remembers that, but it used to be a pay-per-view tournament where the whole tournament, the whole pay-per-view was the King of the Ring, right? It was just the match. And then somehow it fell off for a few years, and then it came back again, and then they had the Booker T thing where they made him King of the Ring, and they kind of made it this gimmicky thing. So
that's how he got King Booker.
Yes.
That makes sense.
I'm hoping that this King of the Ring will do, if Triple H is who I think he is, will be semi like the Intercontinental title, where this guy will be the next, hopefully, champion, the next guy in line. And being that Gunther won against Jey Uso, I'm thinking Gunther might be the guy that they're going to get prop up for King of the Ring. However, if Randy Orton does make it, I think he's fighting tonight. If he does make it in, and we don't want spoilers here, he could make it just because Triple H would want to give him some prominence, say, hey, man, you've done so much for the company. You may not win a championship, but here's King of the Ring. So to get into some of the matches, we can get into that in a little bit. I'm interested in the Logan Paul match. I was hoping that it was title for title, but then when you saw, I don't know who it was it Jey Uso or no, LA Knight look at Logan Paul on Monday night for that title, and then they changed the title matchup from being title versus title to champion versus, WWE championship on the line. It makes sense where the next title reign for Logan Paul is going to be. He's probably going to lose this match against Cody, obviously, and then LA Knight will be probably in the mix somehow in this match. I don't know what your thoughts on, Mac. We can go match for match, or we can just overall view. I've rambled enough. I'm just going to give the floor to Mac.
Oh no, yeah, the King of the Ring tournament has been great thus far. I would want to go back to what something you brought up, and that was how they originally the King of the Ring used to be formatted, where it was just a tournament and one night, and that's what the whole pay-per-view was. It was the actual tournament itself. It wasn't any other extra matches.
Right.
So things are a little bit different now. I mean, the tournaments are going on for a few weeks now, and it is also a little different because it's King and Queen of the Ring.
Right.
So before, it was never the females were never involved. It was always just about the men, the King of the Ring. So now it would be tough to have two full blown tournaments in just one night. That would probably make for a long pay-per-view. But at the end of the day, it's been great. The matches have been compelling. Jey Uso and Gunther delivered a banger Monday night in the main event on Monday Night Raw. It was a great match. Gunther coming out on top, putting Jey Uso to sleep. And it's just been, you've seen some upcoming talent also be able to shine in the tournament as well. The women's side of things, on the Raw side of things, Lyra Valkyrie just got drafted up from NXT just a couple of weeks ago, and now she is going to be competing in the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament tomorrow in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So it's been an opportunity for a lot of the good young talent. I mean, last week Randy Orton and Carmelo Hayes put on a great match. Carmelo Hayes, a great young talent, also drafted up from NXT a couple of weeks ago. Did came up short against Randy Orton, but it was once again a great match and a great way to showcase this new young talent that's going to be an absolute superstar in the WWE. He's going to be a top guy. It's just a matter of time for him. So it's really been awesome. It's Logan Paul, Cody, they're the draw. That kind of has Saudi Arabia when they have these shows. They look for those certain guys, Brock Lesnar's, Logan Paul's, the Cody Rhodes. Those are the draws. Roman Reigns. So this year, this is why we have this match. People have been saying, why do we have this match? Why is Logan Paul going against Cody Rhodes? And this is why, because this is an event that's held over in Saudi Arabia, and you got to give that crowd what they want. So that's what they want. They want to see this is who they want to see. These are the stars that they want to make sure are definitely a part of this show that you're having. That they're having this event that they're having over there. So that's
Logan Paul's pretty good.
That's really the only reason for this match. Yeah, he absolutely is. Now, Logan Paul, he's not going to beat Cody and win the title. That's not going to happen. Cody Rhodes is very much going to carry the title back to WrestleMania next year, still as champion, still. But yeah, and right now on SmackDown, I'm not going to drop any spoilers, but right now on SmackDown, you have the Tama Tongue match and Randy Orton. The winner goes to the finals. And that winter just happened. I still won't drop it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, so I ain't gonna say. But the finals are set, and it's gonna be a great match. It looks like for the final of the King of the Ring tomorrow in Saudi Arabia, man. So it's just
Are you doing live?
I'm looking forward to it. Oh yeah, we're doing. You said are we doing it live?
Are you doing a live stream?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Are you doing a live stream?
Yeah, I'm gonna be part of a live stream. I'll be a BPL on the stream with Earl Cole
What time?
and a couple other guys. It's shows I believe at 1 o'clock tomorrow. I believe 1 in the afternoon our time.
I was like, oh,
Eastern time.
not like 5 a.m. that one time, or whatever crazy time that was.
Well, that was in Australia. Yeah, that show was in Australia, so that's a little bit different. But yeah, 1 p.m. our time. Like even like SmackDown now. SmackDown was in Saudi Arabia as well, and it actually. The show was actually live earlier in the afternoon, but they just showed. We're just watching. What we're getting is the replay, honestly, over here at the regular time. But
so let's talk about something.
King and Queen of the Ring. I was gonna say I don't really what other matches are on. I can't even remember what the other matches are.
I mean, like they have them on the screen here. They have Liv Morgan. No, Jade Cargill.
Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch.
Yes, I mean, who do you think is going to win between Bianca and Nia Jax? I was hoping Jade Cargill would make it in because I thought it would be cool to kind of have the two of them fight and kind of give us a preview. Oh no, actually, it's sorry, it's not about Bianca Belair. It's this girl. Nia Jax is going to win, unfortunately. I don't see that she doesn't do anything else. So to give her Queen of the Ring would be an irritating but necessary type of thing to propel her career. Liv Morgan's interesting because I heard rumors she's going to be joining the Fireflies, which might be coming out this tomorrow night.
Did I just say this? Florida, can you legalize marijuana? Like, what the fuck?
Right. Back to Saudi Arabia.
I don't know where that came from, but okay.
Oh, cause didn't she just get pulled over in Florida for possession of Liv Morgan got pulled over in Florida?
Been a few months now.
Oh, okay, that's
a few months ago.
But still, that's what I'm saying. And when I seen her face, I reminded me of that. So I'm like, yeah, let me just shout that out real fast. It should be federal legal.
Liv Morgan, I know what I'm interested in, but I don't know where she's at. Is Alexa Bliss? Like, where'd she go?
But she's working her way back. She had her baby, and she's working her way back. She's been dropping on social media, been active on social media. She's getting herself prepared to get back. Carmella's also working to try to get back. Carmella had a bit of a setback after her pregnancy, after she gave birth, so that's what's been holding her up, her progress up a little bit. But Alexa Bliss might actually be back probably within, I would say, maybe another month or so. Tops.
See all these famous King of the Ring and stuff here going on. You have Bret Hart of the King of the Ring. Legends were part of this pay-per-view, and that's why I want to bring it back. The last match I want to touch on real quick is the Intercontinental title match, which I like these three guys in the Intercontinental title picture. I do believe Bronson Reed will be an Intercontinental champion at some point. He just got the look. He's a guy that is getting better on the mic. He is a big guy. He may not be a champion, but he may not be the guy that ever is in a championship match. But if you think about big guys who have held titles, Mark Henry's one of those guys. Big Show. He's pretty good. He has a little for a guy his size. He's pretty athletic, and the guy that I think is really deserving of a title, even though Sami Zayn, deserves it. I think Chad Gabriel has come so far since he joined the WWE. As I used to call him a knockoff Kurt Angle, because That's basically his gimmick almost. It's kind of similar to what Kurt Angle
I
was.
can see that.
Thank you, an irritating guy, kind of annoying, but he's really showing that he can wrestle. And while he is not the biggest guy in the world, and usually like those guys to hold world titles, the Intercontinental title is meant for a guy like him. It's meant for a guy who's put in the work, who's done everything that the company's asked for him, and he's good on the mic. He's a great heel, and I think that his time at some point, I think he should win the Intercontinental title. I don't think he should win the King. I don't know if he'll win the King of the Ring. I don't think they're going to do that to Sami Zayn. I think they're going to let Sami have a bit of a run. But I wouldn't be surprised if come SummerSlam, Survivor Series, one of those big pay-per-views, he ends up being a title holder of this title and carries it maybe into WrestleMania or something because he deserves it. If you look at his career and what he's done with the Alpha Academy and Otis and propping that guy up and making him what he is to what he's doing now, going to eventually be breaking away from the group. He's the modern day Kurt Angle, and that really sells, and he can do well. And I think the Intercontinental titles, just like the USA title, are titles that need to showcase guys that you want to put in the title picture, but can't because you have a Cody Rhodes there. So you give a guy the Intercontinental title so he can still be in prominence and be in solid matches. So Chad Gabriel, I hope. I think I'm saying his name wrong, but I hope he does well.
You are, but it's all right. We get it.
What is his name?
We get it. It's Chad Gable. It's just Chad Gable.
I thought it, yeah. Well
said. Mac, do you have any other final thoughts of King of the Ring?
Oh no, I'll touch on this match as well, real quick. This match, I do believe Sami Zayn will come out on top here, so he's not going to lose his title over in Saudi Arabia. I think, and it's going to still, and the feud with him and Chad Gable will continue on until maybe Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which is coming up in probably July. Well, that's probably where Chad Gable potentially may win the title, take it off of him. We may get a finally where Otis potentially maybe goes full-blown heel with Chad Gable as well and realigns himself fully with Chad Gable. Could be the reason and take out Sami Zayn and win that title. I can see something like that happen. Otis is the one, and out of those guys in Alpha Academy, he seems to have, kind of the most control of as far as, just kind of just buying into everything Chad Gable says.
You mean like an enforcer?
I could see a scenario. I can see a scenario like that in which where Otis kind of picks his side, and that side will be the side of Chad Gable, and he probably helps take out Sami Zayn and maybe I don't know for sure. I can't say this for sure, but I can see it happening maybe at Money in the Bank in July, something like that. As far as Bronson Reed may be a part of the Money in the Bank ladder match and start propelling himself more into that kind of trajectory.
If he wins the Money in the Bank,
as far as continuing to love it. And we'll see what a guy like him can do. What a guy like him can do. He is definitely one of the good young talents right now. Great athletic big man, like you mentioned, Adam. I'm not sure if he's ready for a world title run. I'm not saying all that yet. I would definitely try to get one of the mid-card titles on him first. But I think right now this thing with Sami Zayn and Chad Gable is just right now. This is just gold. It's epic. And Chad Gable is one of the best pure wrestlers in the industry. Anyway, he's an actual true wrestler. He wasn't just some guy that he did this competitively, collegiately at the Olympic level. So that's why he's so similar to Kurt Angle, because his background is truly so similar to Kurt Angle's background.
But he's come a long way.
As far as Liv Morgan. He's come a long way in the sports entertainment industry, but he's always been a great pure wrestler.
But what I'm saying, from his character coming in the Alpha Academy, and I actually thought Otis would have been the champion. I miss Otis. He was with Heavy Machinery. I thought he had a good little, gimmick going, and then of course his partner got in trouble, and they put him with Chad Gabriel, and they had their mini run. But the way that I would see him being the enforcer is, maybe you're right, Mac. He does cost Sami Zayn the title, puts it on Gabriel, and then he helps Chad win. I keep calling him Gabriel. Chad. I'm just going to call him Chad because my brain is shutting off right now. So, but anyways, he could be like that, like Chad's enforcer, and he could walk around with the title and be smug, like, ha, 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 and then he can sick Otis on people. So I can see that happening, but he has to win the title first. In order for it to work.
Yeah. And as far as this match here with Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch goes, see, I'm one of those people a few weeks ago when they had that battle royal on Monday Night Raw. I'm disappointed that WWE put the title back on Becky Lynch. I think it's a cop out. I think you already had a very well built in storyline with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. I'm not sure how long Rhea Ripley's going to be out, but that was an opportunity. You put that title on Liv Morgan, let her really build up steam, momentum, when Rhea Ripley returned, then that rivalry right there could come full circle and come to a head. And I think ultimately that's what's going to happen. Liv Morgan will eventually get this title, I believe. I don't think I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow in Saudi Arabia, but she will eventually have that title. And when Rhea returns, I'm almost certain Liv Morgan will probably be the one holding that women's title. That Rhea Ripley is going to come back after whenever she returns. But it's just the point that that's the one problem. That's the problem I still continue to have with WWE is the talent now is just immense. The talent pool is rich, and it's the best it's ever been. You have so much young talent, great young talent on the men and the women's side, just putting in the work, putting in the work, putting in the work, putting in the work, but yet we just want to keep recycling the same champions over again. We don't need another title run by Becky Lynch. She's great. We get her greatness. We understand her greatness. We recognize her greatness. We don't need to keep seeing a title run by Becky Lynch. The same way we're not going to need to see another title run by Charlotte Flair whenever she returns. It's just enough is enough. You have great young talent, like I said, and start building up the young talent. It's time. It's time to stop.
Right.
Doing the same thing over and over again. Like I said, Liv Morgan. There was a time. Let me go take you back to Liv Morgan story with me. Liv Morgan about about 10 years ago, NXT, whatever, however long it was now, when she was in NXT, she looked like a person that I would have never thought would ever not only not be on the main roster, but not even be in a position that she's in now, where she's one of the top females on the main roster. And she was that bad in NXT in her early years in NXT. Like it looked like just like who is this little chick that just bouncing around the ring in her little cool sneakers and shit, losing every single match. She came up to the main roster way sooner than she should have. Way sooner. They brought her up in the main roster way sooner. She wasn't ready. She hadn't had any kind of real good run in NXT whatsoever. And they brought her up to the main roster. And it started off really slow on the main roster as well when she came up with Riot Squad. But she's one of those ones that people still like throw shade at her, but she has really worked her fucking ass off to put herself in the position that she's in now. And I just think that battle royal should have been hers to win, and just get that title on her, get a good solid run, and build up for the future. Like I said, Becky Lynch is a great established star in the women's division, but at the end of the day, man, that title did not need to go back on Becky Lynch, in my opinion. And Liv Morgan, I think should have been a champion. Should have won that battle royal. Had the belt now. Like I said, I don't think she's gonna win it tomorrow in Saudi either necessarily, but I think she will win that title pretty soon. Probably at the whatever the next pay per view afterwards is. She'll probably maybe get that title off her. Then I think they'd keep that. They'll keep that title on Becky Lynch over in Saudi Arabia because that's more probably the way the Saudi Arabian crowd. That's probably more what they want to see, and I think they'll give their fans more of what they want over there. But when we get back over here in America, they get another match maybe after that, which will probably be some kind of match with stipulation at that point because clearly Liv Morgan has pretty much gone full blown heel now. If you haven't noticed, she's starting to do a lot of heel like things. Obviously, she's pretty much gone full blown heel at this point. So I think they'll have a match, maybe some kind of stipulation, maybe in a cage, something, or another, and Liv Morgan will get that title for Becky Lynch. Then, so seem to have lost Zion, but I guess he'll be right back. But yeah, I just think that has a chance to be a pretty decent match. Honestly, Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch tomorrow on the show, and I think but I think Becky Lynch ultimately will win that one as well. Was any what other matches were on the card? I'm sorry.
They had the
That's what I was trying to do, but I accidentally left the stream. We had a Sami Zayn. Did you give your thoughts on the Intercontinental match? Alrighty, and then we have Logan versus
Yeah.
Cody, and then Nia versus
Okay, that's right.
that's it.
Lord.
That's
That's
like
the
a little,
Queen of the
little
Ring
bit.
final.
Mm.
As far as that goes, I think they probably will keep the Queen of the Ring. Probably will go to Nia Jax. I mean, Live Valkyries had a great tournament, Queen of the Ring tournament. I think that the buck will stop there though at Nia Jax. I think Nia Jax will get the best of her ultimately, but Live Valkyries had a great tournament in the Queen of the Ring and great run, and I'm really glad to see that they not only drafted her up to the main roster because she was one of my favorites in NXT. I thought she was definitely one that deserved the opportunity on the main roster, but I don't think I don't think they're quite going to rush her to quite Queen of the Ring status quite yet. And this will be a way for anybody that is a Nia Jax fan to kind of shut the fuck up a little bit about it and say they're not just continuously screwing her over or whatever and not doing anything for her, and let her be the Queen of the Ring and whatever and go forward with that. But as far as Cody, like I said, Cody, Logan Paul, Cody's going to most likely win that title. And I don't know if anybody wants. If you guys want to know who I know who Gunther's opponent is going to be now, but I do see Gunther also winning the King of the Ring tournament
Is that title
because
still on? Title?
the winners of the title the winners of the tournaments, the Queen and the King of the Ring, they will be in line for a title opportunity. And for a
Where
title
the hell is
opportunity,
Damian Priest?
that's right there. Excuse me, what you say?
I said, where the hell is Damian Priest? I mean, you're talking like this should be like he should be part of this because the winner is probably going to choose whoever is in line, right? It's not going
Well,
to.
no, whoever wins, they 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 did the title shot with the champion on their brand. So if Gunther wins, he'll get
Oh,
Damian Priest. If his opponent wins, they'll get Cody.
is that how it
And
works? Okay,
yeah, it's like that. Same with the women. Same way with the women. So
it's going to be Gunther.
that would set up Nia Jax and Bailey, to be quite frank, and Bailey
Ugh.
in SmackDown, or
I,
Live
I want, I'd want,
Valkyria and
I'd
Becky
want
Lynch.
Bailey to win. I'd want Bailey to win.
But so that's really all I got. I mean, it should be pretty compelling. Look forward to the matches tomorrow. I think they'll be pretty good. I think it'll be a pretty solid pay per view. Maybe
Saudi
one of
Arabia
the
doesn't
better
want to
ones over
see.
there. Usually the ones in Saudi Arabia doesn't really the ones shows over there aren't usually all that great, but necessarily. But I think this has potential to be one of their better ones. So
Wasn't there?
look
Wasn't
forward
there
to
one?
enjoying
There
it
was
tomorrow.
a pretty good one the other day in last Saudi Arabia. I thought there was. I thought they had one banger
Yeah, it was pretty
recently.
good. It was pretty solid. I think the last one was really good. Yeah, the
Yeah.
one with Logan was it the one with Logan Paul and Roman Reigns? I
Yes.
can't remember,
Yes.
or
Yes.
was it another one? I can't.
One of those. You're right. One of those happened, but they were like the crowd was just full throat. It was just a lot of fun to watch. I mean, I know they had some stinkers. You're right. And what doesn't make any sense to me is like, where's Damian Priest? Like, he doesn't do much. Like, I guess he's a champion, but this guy's title reign is not going to be long. They gave him the title because they want to put some new blood on him, but his reign's not going to be. I don't think his
Well, he's
reign's
only
going
had
to.
the one major. He's only had the one big title shot so far, and that was at Backlash. He took on Jey Uso. That's other than that, he hasn't had any really notable matches since getting that title yet. But I don't know, Damian Priest. I like Damian Priest, and it's not necessarily his fault. He's not on the card. He doesn't make the matches, so I don't really can't really blame him there.
Yeah, I
I
like it,
think
but
he'll
I
be.
don't think
But I
he's.
think
Do you think he's going to be a longer
well,
title
no, I
holder
don't think.
than Cody Rhodes?
No, I don't think no, not by no means. He's not. He's not going to carry the title in the WrestleMania next year. I believe Cody will carry the title in the WrestleMania next year. I don't think Damian Priest is doing that. I think, but he'll still have a pretty solid run. I think, and like I said, I like Priest. I think he's a little more underrated than people will give him credit. I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. And
Oh, I
I'm
like.
really not upset with him being the champion. I just wish I wish they would do a little more with him. But at the end of the day, I think he's a solid champion. I think he's a solid guy, and I think we're also in position for maybe a potential great match with him and Gunther down the line. So
You never know. But I think Gunther he's got champion written all over there. Whether he wins King of the Ring or not against whoever he is fighting, he's got exactly. It feels like, I hate to say the 1980s because they're not doing it justice, but he feels like one of those guys in the 1980s. The only difference is like he's a dominant figure. I mean, I know they had like the Axis powers and all that stuff back in the 80s, and they did all that fun gimmicky stuff. But he's one of those guys where he'd fit right in. Gunther Ring General, and it just, not only that, he's a great wrestler. And I feel like, to me, don't take the strap off this guy and make him wait till WrestleMania, because he's box office, right? If you wanted to do that, you should have made his title run, and he should have lost the title in like October, and then you could have had a 3 month to prepare. I'm joining the Royal Rumble, you know what I mean? And then boom, we would have known what he's doing. But I feel like he's the next guy up. So if I feel Damian Priest is not going to last.
all right, guys. I was gonna say I just wanted to come in with another update. Third quarter, 2 minutes left in the third quarter. The Minnesota Timberwolves clinging on to a 3-point lead now, 76-73 behind
What
Dallas
did
Mavericks, roaring back behind the efforts of Luka Donovan, not of Luka. 27 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. It's still only the third quarter, man. That's what I'm talking about. A superstar putting his team on their back. Luke is in the top 1%. Like I said earlier, that guy is an absolute stud. And he got Dallas Mavericks right now, right back into the thick of things, only down by 2 points right now.
Wow, crazy.
And a minute 4 left in the third quarter.
My feed, the where I'm saying checking the game, is way delayed, but that is way delayed.
Well said. That being said, guys, we're gonna move on. That was great WWE talk, and I know Jeff, he would have loved that. King of the Ring tomorrow, King and Queen of the Ring tomorrow. Excuse me. Make sure you guys go check out Hardcore Sports Network. Back the Giants fans, they'll be streaming it live on his channel. Link down below. Make sure you guys go subscribe and pause if you guys didn't already. Make sure you guys hit that like button. That being said, guys, we are going to move on to our next topic, and our next topic is probably going to be, NFL talk, just NFL football. We can focus on OTAs. We can focus on the New York Football Giants, which we probably will do because that's what we do. We are Giants fans. And that being said, if anybody wants to mention any other NFL team, by all means, if you've been searching on their YouTube channel or watching some videos that you might want to share, so by all means, please let us know. That being said,
I didn't get a chance to look at those hype videos for the schedule, because they were so moving. I couldn't find any time of the day to get those in. Sorry.
it's all good. But that being said, we are gonna move on to talking about the G-Man. That being said, OTAs is kicked off. OTAs is on his way. Malik Neighbors is out here doing what he's supposed to do. Out here looking damn good, like a stud that he is supposed to be. Catching all these balls from that homie right there.
Get away from it!
House.
My eyes.
We got Malik Neighbors out here making some plays and stuff like that. But one thing that I love seeing is just the energy. I have to be completely honest with you. Haven't had a chance to really watch some of these videos, but yes, look at that vertical. I know that all these playmakers that we did bring in. Shout out to Chevy, got a sponsorship at the Giants. If anybody is looking to buy a vehicle this offseason or right now, but that being said, we're not sponsored by them, so let's not give them any plug. We got Theo Johnson right there catching a nice grab. Like a lot of playmakers we did bring in, and a lot of playmakers that we did keep. That being said, though, I just want to hear you guys' raw thoughts on it. How if you guys been tuning into what's been going on, how you guys maybe think the roster is shaking out, what you guys think is the roster is gonna be. There's a lot of moves that I probably didn't touch on that probably happened that I seen on my news feed, but I'm over my head right now. It's going over my head right now. But that being said, I do want to say that with Tyrone, with Theo Johnson, with Malik Neighbors, with all of these studs that we did bring in.
You forgot Allen Robinson, man.
I'm talking about the rookies. That being said, with all these studs that did bring in, I think they are gonna make this team, a whole lot better. But I'm hoping that Daniel Jones. I'm not trying to just bring up his name to bring up his name. I just hope that as a Giants fan, I think they can actually, a lot of the times I want to see my quarterback uplift the team, but I think team can kind of uplift Daniel Jones. So maybe Daniel Jones finally got some fire under his belt, knowing that this might be his last season. And I'm not gonna say that Daniel Jones is gonna go out there and have an amazing
putting the fire
schedule,
under his
but
belly.
I'm 7.
You're off the island. You're off the island.
Hold on. I'm still. Go right ahead. Mac wants to say something.
No, I'm saying the fire should already be under his belly. He shouldn't need
absolutely.
to put a fire under his belly. A fire should already be under his belly.
Oh, absolutely.
But,
absolutely.
Sorry, finish your thoughts.
Oh, no, you're good. I was responding for Adam. I was responding to Adam kicking me off the island. Not just yet. Let me finish my point. I don't want to get kicked off the island just yet. I do have the Giants struggling this season because it's not a brand new team, but if you think about it, we have brand new players on key positions, such as the offensive line. Now, I think the defense can hold up, but even at that, our secondary is still young. You know what I'm saying? I think our D-line is going to be nice, but it's what's behind them. And I think, they can be really good. But when I look at the offensive side of the ball, this team is still needs to gel as the offensive line. So I'm not a week out of my prediction. I don't have this team going that far because of the fact that this is a tough schedule. Yes, the NFC is the weaker conference, but it got a whole lot stronger this offseason. And Mac was right. He's 100% right. The fire should have already been lit under Daniel Jones. And I think it just turned up the heat because of the fact that I think he kind of finally fucking feels the pressure that he knows that he's holding this fucking team back. And if you don't succeed with all these players I just mentioned, I'm not saying that Theo Johnson and Tyrone is gonna be all pro in their first year, but their ceiling, I believe, is high. And I'm not saying all pro in the first year, or even the second year, even ever. All I'm saying is they can really do something for this team that can elevate this roster to levels where Daniel Jones actually looks decent. And if that happens, then I will be happy still in the game here or there against teams that maybe I had us losing, and maybe we still a game because not of Daniel fucking Jones, but because of Malik Neighbors, maybe because of Tyrone, maybe in the later weeks 15, 16, 17, and Tyrone has adjusted. Maybe he comes and from a special teams returner. Now that it's a little bit different, but he's still gonna play a role on special teams. Maybe he can become the starting running back, not really taking a big role away from Singletary, but taking more snaps, maybe taking some snaps away from Singletary, and maybe Malik Neighbors and maybe Theo Johnson can win us a game where maybe Daniel Jones wouldn't have won us if he didn't have
saying his name.
So that being said, I honestly I'm saying his name because I don't think it's going to be as bad as we think it's going to be. I think he is the bad quarterback, and I think we're going to get rid of him. But I think Daniel Jones is going to throw for good numbers, but just not have that much wins. Well, he's going to throw for 4,000, but he's not going to be 60-yard passes downfield. Like I explained,
if he throws 4,000 yards, he's not going anywhere.
No, it's hold up. He's like give me 1 second, Adam. Take your hatred of Daniel Jones out of this point I'm about to make.
Nope.
I just said that. I'm not changing my point. I just said that I still have us winning 7 and 8 games. That doesn't take us to the playoffs, right? What I do have it going is Malik Neighbors is the kind of receiver that is going to put up fantasy numbers. He's the kind of receivers that you can throw him a 6-yard slant and he can take it for 50. That is 56 credited to Daniel Jones. So when Daniel Jones is putting up 250, 300 yards a game passing, everybody's going to be praising Daniel Jones, and he's going to get like 4,100 yards with that 21 to 25 touchdowns, maybe 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions kind of work, maybe 600 yards on the ground, and that's a fully fucking healthy season. That's not if he sees the fucking bench because he's hurt again. My hatred hasn't turned against Daniel Jones. What I am saying is I think these rookies that we are bringing in can elevate this team when I really sat down and I really thought about this, I'm like, you know what? I'm not so mad about who we drafted. Like, I wanted to go quarterback so fucking badly that it kind of like misled me to kind of just like bash on these kids. But now when you're actually seeing these kids work, I know every other NFL team has improved, but we maybe got some special talented pieces here that in the white coaching system with Brian Dable finally fucking calling the games, the plays, the reason why we brought him in here because he was a so and so fucking quarterback guru, offensive fucking mind, and then we hand off the fucking play calling to Matt Caffrey. It doesn't make any sense. So finally that he's calling the fucking plays and maybe we have some rippings. Maybe we see the Giants finally look pretty good on offense. Will that translate to wins? Probably not. But I'm gonna pass the mic over to the boys and I'll let them talk about OTAs, the Giants offseason, what you guys been liking. Is there a player that really been highlighting to you guys, or is there a player that you guys really want to see improve, or you don't really kind of care? You're kind of just waiting for the season to start. Want this whole trade to be over and you really want regular offseason to begin because you guys really know OTAs is fun, but it's really not. It's really not until they physically hitting each other. But I'll let the boys take it over.
First off, it's OTAs. It's practice. I don't give a shit about it because it doesn't mean a goddamn thing until September. Second off,
Exactly what I just said.
You're off the island of Daniel Jones. We'll you can come back at the end of the year if all things go with the way.
Hey, hold on. How are you kicking off the island if I didn't? I still.
You said he got 4,100 yards and 21 touchdowns.
So you're letting your hatred of Daniel Jones get in the way of the weapons around you. I'm not trying to start a debate with you, Adam. All I'm trying to say is
no.
Just because I think he's going to throw for that's his ceiling. I'm not saying he's.
I'm trying to get rid of the guy.
His ceiling.
I'm not trying
understand.
to keep the guy. I don't
if he throws for 4,100 yards and we don't make the playoffs, we're getting rid of Daniel Jones.
No, we're not. No, we're not. No, you're not.
I'm not going to debate you on that. I'm going to let you have your time.
If that guy throws 4,100 yards and 21 touchdowns, I'm sorry, he's going to be the quarterback for the next 3 years. If Daniel Jones has the same numbers he put up in 2022, and we have a losing record, I don't think he should be the quarterback.
I believe I don't want to take too much time away from your take. I don't want to cut you off. That's what I don't want to do. What I will say this is, like I explained in my point, when you go back and you look at the film at the end of the fucking season, any clear-minded coach, when there's going to be games or the game's on the line and Daniel Jones chokes and Daniel Jones fucking doesn't do the thing that he doesn't do, Dable's going to see us. And that's the reason why we're going to go 7-10. That's the reason why we're going to go 8-11. Because Dable will see that. Dable will see the mistakes that Daniel Jones is making. And he knows that with the roster around him, we bring in a young Quinn Ewers, we bring in a young Monroe, we bring in a young Carson Beck, we bring in a young player, maybe a Dylan Gabriel. They can really execute because the team is really built. So just because Daniel Jones is having all these numbers, that's not because of him. That's because he's throwing at 6 yards and Malik is taking it 50. That's my knock on Daniel Jones. I don't think stats is going to define on him keeping his job or not.
It will.
Maybe I'm saying it slightly. I don't mean to be rude, but maybe.
Anyways, OTAs. Yeah, I'm done. My point's over. You're not understanding my thought process, so it's over. All I'm going to say is this: if Daniel Jones throws 4,100 yards, they're not going to get rid of the guy. I'm sorry. They kept the guy for 15 touchdowns. Now you're giving him 20 and 4,100 yards.
I don't look at 4,100 yards as special in this NFL. I'm sorry. I'm looking at 48, 5,000. I'm looking at 46, 4,100. Adam. I mean, like, come on, bro. That's not that special, bro. Half the 25% of the league does that, bro. 25% of the league eclipses for 1,000 nowadays. I'm just saying. Continue. 25 quarterbacks, not 25% of the league.
All right. Well, never mind. I'm done. It's cool. Go on. OTAs, but.
Yeah, it's your point. It's your point to talk. I'm not trying to get you heated. I'm just flipping two pictures.
It's not about this. Ain't about that. It's just about the Giants. OTA. I'm not
absolutely
drinking this Kool-Aid. I drank
Giants.
the Kool-Aid last year. I drank the Kool-Aid 2 years ago. I drank the Kool-Aid every goddamn year. I'm not drinking no more damn New York Giant Kool-Aid. I love the New York Giants. They my squad, but nothing matters until September for me anymore.
Absolutely.
I don't care what they're doing at OTAs. I don't care what they're doing in July and August and fucking training camp. I don't care what they're doing in the preseason games. I just care
So
about what they do in September. And until they come out there in September, ready to ball out and show me something, then that's just what it is. That's all that matters to me anymore. I don't care. They're going to look good. They're professional football players. They're going to look good in practice, in shorts and no defense and no nothing resistance. They're going to look good. Daniel Jones is going to look great throwing the football. Malik Neighbors is going to look great. Everybody, the rookie running back that they've been talking about all week, the guy they drafted in like the 5th round or whatever, he's been looking so great in practice. We may have something special here with this kid. I don't care until they do it in September. I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. I'm not setting myself up for that bullshit again. I'm not doing it. I love myself too much. I'm not setting myself up for it. Until they show me something in September, I don't care about anything else that's going on right now in the off season. Until it's cool. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, you're building this nice bond together. And until I see it working together on the field in September, it doesn't fucking matter to me one iota.
All looks good on
I
paper.
bought into all this off-season hype over the last couple of years. I've bought into it. I've continued to buy into it. I'm not doing that anymore. I refuse to. September is what matters. September is what counts. And until this team looked so amazing all off season last year. Oh, Darren Waller. Oh, he got the weapons that Daniel Jones needs now. He's gonna come out there. He's gonna air it out. It's gonna be crazy. The offense is gonna be out of control. And I bought into all that hype. And I bought into all of it. Yes, I bought into all of it.
I'm not
And
buying
this team came out there week 1 against Dallas last season at home and got shut the fuck out. Shut out at home in the season opener against your division rival.
We didn't score a point until like the second.
That right there is no way to start a season off. That's no way to start a season off, man. And I'm done with this. Like I said, I love this team with all my heart. Daniel Jones, look, you know how I feel about him right now currently?
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, got to suck it up. He's the damn quarterback for another year at least. Got to suck it the hell up. It is what it is. I wish him the best. I just don't believe that I will. I just don't believe that we're going to get what we need from him. I just don't believe that based off of his body of work. At the end of the day, do I have to somewhat support him right now? I guess I kind of have to just for the sake of the team. But
that's the point right there. I'm not like you don't have to, man, because you can support him if you want to because you're a Giants fan. But that's why I think you guys understood my point. I don't like when I met the players elevating Daniel Jones at his ceiling playing full games. I'm not going to go back to that number because it really upset people. But at the end of the day, like I'm just tired of. I haven't been on the Giants.com. I haven't really been in the loop. I've been focusing a lot about work. And yes, I do understand this is not at you, Mac. This is not at you, Adam. I do understand the hatred of the Giants right now because the fan base had a drought for 10 years. But at the end of the day, I am not the fucking human that can come on a podcast and keep on bashing and bashing and bashing. And let me point this out again. I don't want to offend anybody. This is not at you, Adam. This is not at you, Mac. I can't with the negativity. So what I tried to do was try to just get the OTA and practice and besides Daniel Jones, because I don't believe in Daniel Jones. I think we're still going to go fucking 7-10 and 8-11, whatever fuck my math doesn't add up. I just believe that for fantasy-wise, these kids like Malik Neighbors will go out there and look good. It's not because of fucking Daniel Jones. It's because of Malik Neighbors. So when Daniel Jones has all the fucking, not all the numbers, when Daniel Jones pretty has fucking decent numbers, it's not because of Daniel Jones. It's because of Malik Neighbors. But at the end of the day, I'm just tired of every time it seems like we've been talking about our team after post-draft, it's been just really, really either negative or either really just aggressiveness towards the team. Or at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck about the Giants. They're never on my fucking mind. The Giants are never on my fucking mind until I come to Premium Takes and we're talking about the Giants. So at the end of the day, it's like I'm fucking watching hip-hop videos. I'm fucking watching fucking gaming videos. I'm going to fucking work. I'm watching Survivor. I'm watching fucking the new shows on Netflix, the roast of Tom Brady. And then all I try to do, I'm not at you guys, but all I was trying to do was just talk about the Giants and keep it positive for once. But I bought out his name, Baltimore, and shit hit the fan. So I apologize for just trying to be positive and talk about this team, Adam. And I don't give a fuck about your island. I'm still your homie, though. Let's get it. Continue, Mac. It was just a misunderstanding. I think your hatred to Daniel Jones really got in the way of what I was trying to say, and I kicked me off yard, and I'm not gonna be back. I got kicked off. Got voted off fucking Survivor. Maybe I'll come back in another season, but it's really rare. Continue, Mac, and then pass the mic over to Adam because he really didn't have a take. He was so caught up in fucking Daniel Jones. But continue, Adam. Say his fucking name, you lose your fucking mind. My gosh, I need to go take a walk.
Wow.
Look, see, this is the shit what Daniel Jones does. This is what Daniel Jones does the New York Giants fans. This is what he does. That's not healthy. It's not a healthy relationship. That's a relationship that needs to be ended. The relationship with Daniel Jones and the New York Giants needs to be ended because this is what it does to the fan base. I've been a Giants fan a long time, and we've had some shitty guys on the team. We've had other bad draft picks and other just bust and just whatever, but no player that I can recall has ever divided the New York Giants fan base the way this guy has. I mean, it just is what it is. Like I said, I feel the way I feel about him. He's a quarterback for at least another year. So just for the sake of the team, I guess I still got to support him, ride with him, and go out there and hope the best for him. But at the end of the day, I just don't see it. That's just my opinion of it. That's just how I feel about it.
I have an opinion of I don't have to support that I think on the team. That's all.
And this team is just, I don't care about what they're doing in May, in June. I don't care. I'm at that point now. I cared about all of that before in the past, and I bought into the hype. This team I just thought was going to be so great last year. It was going to be one of those big surprise teams. We're going to come in there and really challenge for the division title, everything. I bought in all of that hype. I'm not doing it again. Because every team at the end of the day is going to look good in May, running around in shorts and shells. Of course, they're professionals. They're supposed to look good in shorts with nobody out there game planning and trying to stop them. Of course, they're going to look great.
It's when they look bad.
So until they show me again in September, until they show me that they can look great in September again, that's just how I feel about this. That's what I want to see. Is this team come out and look like a competent NFL football team once again? Because it's been far too long since the New York Giants have looked like a competent NFL team. We are becoming the joke of the league, literally. Well, I think that's just all I got at this point.
I think putting all it on those rookies is a lot to expect. And I don't know why people get so upset about this quarterback. He stinks. But, the point I was trying to make was, and you can leave the island, come back on the island, I don't care. It's a joke, but I went haywire. But to not come at you, to come at your point, 4,100 yards, he's going to be here for the long term, just putting it down there. Now, I know that Malik Neighbors can probably get 1,000 yards with anybody playing quarterback. That's not my thing. I think this team is going to suffer on offense. I just think they're going to struggle. I think, one, because the quarterback's a liability, a huge liability. I think, two, the offensive run game is not going to be the same. And because we don't have the same players, as we talked about yesterday, Zion, where
but that's what I don't get. Every phone call we ever had, I'm not mad at you. That's why I don't get. Every phone call we ever had, every podcast we ever did, I'm still at your same level. All I'm trying to say is,
kidding, bro.
I know you wasn't kidding because I said Daniel Jones, bro, and then you just went off. Like you really just went off. And that's why I don't like that. I don't like that because at the end of the day, I'm not mad at you. We can do this off the screen, but I'm gonna do it live because I ain't mad. I'm just explaining my point. It's like 4,100 yards ain't nothing special. It's because of Malik Neighbors. Ain't nothing special. I still don't think we're gonna do that. I still think 7 wins, 8 wins, 4,100 yards. We talked about wins. We didn't get into the stats yet, right? So now I bring up stats, and then I'm just saying. I'll let you make your point, though. I don't want to overtalk.
It is what it is, bro. All I'm saying to you is, if we're talking about him as a guy on this team, I'm saying to you that 4,100 yards means he's going to be the quarterback for a long time. I'm just telling you that right now. You may not want to agree, and I don't care if Malik Neighbors gets 2,000 yards. Whatever the end result is for Daniel Jones, if it's over 4, if he gets 4,100, he's going to be the quarterback in 2025 and going forward. That's just what's going to happen. Okay, so yeah, do I want this guy on the team? Do I think he's great? No, I don't think he's great. I don't think he's going to eclipse 4,100 yards. I think that's what the norm should be for that guy when you're getting paid $160 million. He shouldn't have to be carried by anybody, quite frankly. However, if you want takes on the Giants, and everyone's gonna get mad because Daniel Jones, I'm not rooting for. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not rooting for the guy. The guy stinks. I think he's been the worst thing on this Giant team because of what he's done to this fan base and the delusions that we come up with every year. This guy, he's got a chip on his shoulder, like Max said. The guy should have been having a chip on his shoulder. You got $160 million, bro. You should be the fucking league leader in the clubhouse, not Malik Neighbors. I shouldn't be relying on a rookie to be the leader of the team. You know what I mean? As far as talent-wise goes, the offense is going to be a fucking liability. Okay, it is. We brought in 3, 4, 5 blocking tight ends. That's what we fucking did. Okay? So now we're going to run the football and try to short game this shit. You know how successful that is? Not very successful. I don't really have much excitement for this team. They haven't proven nothing to me. And I see this schedule and I look at our offense and I look at the guy under center who's leading our offense, and I don't know if I can trust him enough to go out there and get the fucking job done against the Ravens, who are the league leader in sacks, the Browns, who are big time defenses. We're playing teams that are looking to win Super Bowls. Okay, outside of the Minnesota Vikings and the Washington Commanders, who everyone thinks we're going to win anyways, those games are 50-50. I don't even trust us. Now, I think where our liabilities will be on defense is going to probably still be our run game and probably our passing game, because we have a lot of young people in the secondary. People are going to miss McKinney because of what he's done and the things that he cleaned up. Turbin may be a good player, but he may not have the acumen right now to know everything that McKinney has seen in the 4 or 5 years that he was here. McKinney was probably the defensive MVP, last year, because the unsung plays.
Newman is still young too.
Because the unsung plays that he made. Now, I love Burns. I wanted Burns in the draft years ago. I thought he was going to be a stud. He is a stud. There are things I love about this team. So I don't want people to get it misconstrued when I go about the quarterback and joke about kicking people off an island because the quarterback stinks. This team has some good pieces around it. Now, there's a few guys I want to talk about real quick before I end this. Azeez Ojulari needs to step the fuck up or get the fuck off the pot. All right, the guy, I love him. I thought he was going to be a great stud for this team. He is a stud when he plays. Every game he plays gets a sack, but he's too often injured. The second thing I'll say is, while I like Kayvon Thibodeau, and I think he had 11 sacks, I need a little bit more from him. I need more disruption from him. What Brian Burns brings is disruption. And the one thing I will say that this defense is, and this is why I don't want to temper people's expectations. If you think we're going 11-6, fine. You think we're going 10-7, whatever. You think we're having a winning record, great. The things that I'm seeing on paper don't afford me that thought process. My thought process is, defensively, we're going to have to gel. And the defense that was run by the previous defensive coordinator had a lot of turnovers. This defense that we're running now is not about turnovers. It's not about blitzing. It's not about bringing 7, 8 guys. It's about bringing 4, maybe 5 guys, creating pressure. So that may be a bend but don't break defense. They were the best defense in the red zone last year, which means they let you get yardage, but they don't let you score touchdowns. So those type of defenses tend to break, and we play some decent offenses this year. So it's going to be a struggle for the Giants, because I do believe offensively, if they take out Malik Neighbors, you still have to prove with Jalen Hyatt, you still have to prove with Wan'Dale Robinson, and you still have to prove with Theo Johnson. And asking Theo Johnson to exponentially be this tight end on Darren Waller's level is not fair to a 4th-round pick who has got to get his feet wet. That's why I think the Giants are going to struggle, and they're going to run the football more. I don't think Devin Singletary is as dynamic as Barkley, but we'll see. But that's all I have to say on the Giants. It's OTAs. It's fucking May. People
Well said, well said, well said. That being said, though, I do want to bring up another topic, but before I get to that, I'm not gonna go around in circles. Um, I just me and Adam have similar takes in the win record. It's just how we get there. I still have us going 7-10, but there's a game where we can lose by 25 and put up 10 points, but then there's another game where we can put up 34 points or 44 points, and all the stats at the end of the season is skewed because one day Daniel Jones is throwing for 300 and the other game he's throwing for 95. Then that being said, it's a new day and age in the NFL, and defenses have every fucking obstacle to get past. So when you have someone like Malik Neighbors, I just feel like we're still going to struggle. Adam laid everything out on the line, which I did love. A lot of things he absolutely facts. What I've been agreeing with him the whole season. We have a lot of stuff to fix. One player goes down, who the fuck's gonna step up? Our roster is literally being carried by a guy that shouldn't even be in the fucking NFL, that should be playing in the UFL. But at the end of the day, they still need a gel at the offensive line. It is going to be a struggle this whole season. But where we do have our struggles, we're going to have a game where Malik Neighbors is going to be Malik Neighbors, and maybe he might get over 200 yards. And then when Malik Neighbors get that 215-yard game, that 215-yard game is also a Daniel Jones game. So Daniel Jones will secretly look good, but really just obviously be bad. But Adam has a good point, which who knows what could happen. I don't hold a fortune, cookie. I'm not a fortune teller. But that being said, if Daniel Jones has 41 yards and he has a bad season when they put on the film, and that most of that 41 yards is coming from Malik Neighbors, I think we get rid of him. Adam says other way. Adam agrees to disagree. So that being said, I don't want to get emotional, but I will stop. I was just trying to bring up the Giants and bring up the NFL to fill some time and to talk about the NFL because we're a podcast here. But seeing that you guys don't want to talk about the Giants, we will lay off with the Giants until the season. And I'm being 100 right now because I was never trying to rustle any feathers or poke any holes. And I understand that was a joke at him. But at the end of the day, like, I understand how that can see how just the confusion like that can stir the pot. And I apologize for getting mad.
We'll take it off air. We'll take it off air.
Absolutely. No Mets, Jets. What's up? Thank you so much for being here. And I'm actually go ahead, Matt.
Let me chime in real quick with something. Just real quick. If your motherfuckers right here, you sports fans out here in the world, if you ain't got your TVs locked right now to TNT, you are missing an epic example of NBA playoff basketball right now. The Dallas Mavericks and Minnesota Timberwolves are putting on a fucking clinic. This game is awesome. It is in the fourth quarter, 3 and a half minutes to go. Minnesota up 102-101. This game, they're going tit for tat, shot for shot. These guys are putting it on the line. The stars are showing up in this one right now. Kyrie Irving playing absolutely out of his mind in the second half of this basketball game. Luka is doing what Luka does. This game right now is epic right now. It's going right down to the wire. Just had to come with another update with y'all real quick.
Absolutely. What's the score, man?
It's been great. This has been compelling. It is 102-101.
102-101.
Minnesota.
That's a close game.
Minnesota,
absolutely.
102-101.
102-101. Minnesota absolutely put in that work. That Mavericks actually put in that work. That being said, though, I know we talked about this, and I think this is a fun way. It's a 1 hour and 42 minutes, and I think this is a fun way to end the night. We brought it up before the show went live, and I'm gonna turn the mic back over to Adam. He has a really good topic. It is not sports related. It's just a fun topic that we wanted to bring up to kind of, we went up, we went down, we went all over the place through this whole podcast. But now we're going to bring it into Adam, and he wants to ask a question with the chat, with us. And I'm going to pass the mic over to Adam.
Everyone, the question is, who is the better comedian, Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart? My vote will always be Dave Chappelle due to the fact that I loved what he's done. I think he's our modern day Richard Pryor. Some of you may not be old enough to know who Richard Pryor is. Look him up. He was pretty good.
One of the best legends.
But what Dave Chappelle has done with his sketch comedy not many people can rival Saturday Night Live and kind of take an audience to new heights. He changed the game. He picked on every race, every color, every creed, everybody. He had kids in the hospital. He made fun of in some of his videos and stuff. He was just amazing with some of his legendary performances. I'm not going to get into all of them, but some of the skits are just absolutely epic. And it was sad that he decided to walk away for whatever reasons. Those are his reasons. But a funny story I heard about Dave Chappelle, he said it himself. He says the way he writes his jokes is that he has an idea, he'll write it down, he'll put it in the fishbowl, and then he'll have another idea, he'll write it down, he'll put it in the fishbowl, and then he'll go in that fishbowl, he'll rummage around, and then he'll pull out one piece of paper, and he'll pull out another piece of paper, and whatever it says in those pieces of paper, he'll try to make a joke out of it and then try to link the two together. These are events and things that happen in his life, but it could be anything. And I think it's the same way that I think Biggie Smalls is one of the best rappers of all time because of what they can do and how genius they are in what they do. Now, Kevin Hart, I respect what he's done, but to me,
specials.
To me, Dave Chappelle. Who, Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle?
No man said sadly Dave is just doing TED Talks right now, but like Dave just dropped 2 specials in the last 2 years. And didn't he have like a 2001 special? Joe Rogan hasn't dropped a special in like 8 years.
Well, I wouldn't put Rogan in the same category.
Rogan's not in the same category, but I'm saying there's other comedians out here that didn't drop. Dave's active. That's what I meant to say.
Dave Chappelle is actually higher than Chris Rock, even though Chris Rock has done a lot for comedy and what he did. Biggie Smalls, From Your Neighborhood, nice, man. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt, Pepper, and Heavy D in my limousine. But really what I wanted to just say is like Chappelle to me kind of epitome. There's a lot of comics. I loved what Chris Rock was in the late 90s, and then what Chappelle has done for me and so some of his movies and the things that he's pioneered, I think is pretty good. So I'll let you guys talk about it.
Bernie Mac, absolutely. Go right ahead, Mac.
Tommy just put a great comment in the chat up there, man. Said Chappelle never sold out. And one of the best. Rest in peace, Bernie. Bernie Mac is my favorite all time. Bernie Mac is the man. I wish he was still here. He'd be still probably killing it on the stage if he was, because that was the entertainer that he was. To me, there won't be another Bernie Mac. I know this is about Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart.
It's okay.
I've always been more of a Chappelle guy for sure, because Chappelle definitely, to me, Chappelle was never scared to push that envelope a little bit. He was going to move the needle, man. He didn't. It's about the jokes, you know what I mean? And as long as you can take it for what it is, man, he was never scared to go out there and say what he felt like saying. He didn't care about the optics, you know what I mean? So much like a Kevin Hart, yeah, sure, he's more that jokey, funny, whatever guy that, talked about his own family and all this other crazy shit, all that shit he does. But Chappelle just came off more real, more raw, to me. I know his last Netflix special a few months ago wasn't that great. Probably definitely wasn't one of his better works. But at the end of the day, I still got it. I love the way Chappelle delivers, the way he comes full circle. If you ever when you watch his stand-ups, his shows, it's like he'll talk about something in the beginning of the show, and then he'll damn sure put a bow on that bitch by the end of it. You know what I mean? It's like something you probably something you might have forgot that he even mentioned like an hour ago. You know what I mean? But then it's like, oh yeah, he was talking about that in the beginning. And just love the way Chappelle brings it. You know what I mean? So I definitely give Chappelle the nod over Kevin Hart, but I like some of what Kevin Hart's done too. I just think he's kind of flooded the scene a little bit. It's been a little too saturated with him a little bit with some of the stuff.
Said he's
some of
the
the shit,
Jackson.
that he probably like projects. Some things are some things you probably should have just said no to, Kevin. You know what I mean? But I get it. You get that money, you get that check. You know what I mean? A check is a check, I suppose. So But at the end of the
Mike.
day, I ultimately agree with Tommy up there, man. Bernie Mac to me
Ooh,
is
oh my
was the
God.
man, and none of these guys hold a candle to him, in my opinion. But
I watched
that's just
Brett
how I feel
Kreischer.
about that.
I'll say for me, I would say Shane Gillis to answer that question.
You
Shane
know,
Gillis is absolutely a fucking phenom right now.
you know who I
He's just
love is I think his name is Bill Burr. Is his name?
Bill
Uh,
Burr.
let me make sure I'm saying his
Yeah,
name right.
Bill Burr.
He
You're
is
good.
freaking
Bill
hilarious,
Burr
bro.
is
Yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah,
Bill Burr
he
is
is funny.
hilarious.
He's fucking
Bill
hilarious. Yeah.
Burr. He had his comedy specials. I freaking love it. Right?
Mhm.
He did a whole podcast where he basically cursed somebody off on the thing because some old lady was complaining about his dirty language, and he's like, "Fuck off! This is comedy." Like,
Yeah,
what are you
he's
talking
amazing.
about? So I like a lot of guys. George Carlin was good. Robin Williams was a
Robin
great
Williams, another legend.
all time great. George Carlin is, if you guys haven't listened to him, listen to him now. He says a lot of things that we're going through in life right now, and it's kind of funny, and
That's awesome.
it really does. Like, I look him up. He says it. You're like, oh yeah, everyone's sheep and everyone's trying. And you're like, holy shit, that's how it's going down. He really dropping some nuggets. There's some great ones that have come and gone. Like the guy that I relate to, like I said, the most is Chappelle. I love him.
He's much more older now.
But there's nobody would these guys wouldn't be here without Eddie Murphy. So we have to pray,
Oh, absolutely. That's a fact.
shout out Eddie Murphy, because without Eddie Murphy, and a lot of these guys don't get the same. It's almost like when the rap game, you know how you have like Biggie Smalls finds Jay-Z, Jay-Z finds this person and that person, and it goes down the line. Eddie and Chris work together, and then Chris and Dave work together, and then you go down the line, and here you are with all these different guys sharing knowledge. So I love comedy. I think it's I think it's pretty funny. Wouldn't be none. Mr. Pryor
Good
was
one, no
good too.
mess.
I would say this with us too. It's like in the debate, not even the debate, but in the who's better, who between Dave and between Kevin. I never thought Kevin was the type of comedian to like just let me like get me to laugh like beginning to end. Like he has good moments and he has good um takes. I wouldn't say takes, but punchlines. I'm forgetting the phrase for what they use in that world. But I always looked at Dave, like you guys said, as like keeping it real. Another comedian that could be in that conversation too is like Cat Williams. I always think that Cat Williams always kept it real. I know
Yeah,
I know that Kevin Hart, he kind of like I don't want to say like he let the fame get to his head, but if you really and he was amazing through the Tom Brady host. If you guys haven't checked that out, I suggest you guys go check it out. It was just fun to watch from beginning to end. And they absolutely teared Tom Brady apart, and not only that, but it was just like a lot of funny moments and stuff like that. But that being said, when I look at Kevin, he kind of Dave did have the Chappelle show, but he didn't really. He walked away from a lot of things that could have gotten him to that celebrity power that maybe Kevin Hart is at right now. But at the end of the day, he didn't want to be anybody's puppet. I'm not saying Kevin Hart is anybody's puppet. He does have his own media company. The guy is amazing at what he does. But at the end of the day, he walked away for his reasons, and he was able to come back and still. It's like he didn't even miss a beat. He didn't even miss a page. Like this guy's a definition of a true professional, a definition of a legend, and he's always gonna keep it real and like you guys said, I don't want to echo, but he's always been the one that kind of like pushed the board. So Kevin Hart, congratulations on success, all the success that he had, because it does open up doors for a lot of these young comics to sell out arenas and to go out there and try to sell out stadiums like Fluffy just did in Los Angeles. But you got to give shout outs to Kevin Hart for doing it at the Lincoln Financial. So he is elevating these rappers, and it is facts when you guys kind of look at it like that. It's like when you look at some of these key legends, like we needed a Pac in the game, we needed a Biggie in the game, but we also needed a Jay-Z, we also needed an Eminem. So like it's fun how comedy has those legends, but then as the generations come on and things go on, there is going to be people that elevate comedy to the next level. and that's what kind of Kevin Hart did. He elevated comedy to the next level. Like, don't get me wrong, Dave elevated it, but by doing arenas and by opening it up more to the world, not that it wasn't already, it's just the evolution of comedy. Now that you see com- comedians that wouldn't even get a shot at being on a award show or being on a maybe a roast or being on a now with the evolution of comedy and with all the greats that came before them, you know, able to get a gig that maybe they wouldn't have to. And another one that we didn't mention is Tony Hinchcliffe. He's pretty funny as well. Number one podcast in the world, Kill Tony. He does give opportunities to these young comedians for a shot. But if you guys haven't already, Shane Gillis, he's the comedian right now that I'm looking at as obviously he has some work to do, but I think he's already better than your Tom Segura's and your Brett Kreischers of the world. I think he had his moment on Sunday Night Light, but Saturday Night Live. But at the end of the day, when I watch his comedy specials, it's just beginning to end. Like, I don't know, but I'm just laughing. There's moments, and then there's like real laughter, and I think he is real laughter. And as far as Joe Rogan, to bring up this comment, I think he's a he's a he's good for the business because he's like a producer in a sense. If it was rap, he kind of brings a lot of comments in. He gets comments in front of people that they would never be in front of. So Joe Rogan is a good ambassador to the comedians, and he is a comedian himself. But I don't put him that high on my list as well. Continue, guys. I'll let you guys go. I think Mac had something to say.
Now I was gonna add, put a question up there a little while ago, asked about our best favorite stand ups all time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with what he had put down as Raw. For me, it's Raw. Just growing up for in the '80s, 47-year-old. I'm 40, I'll be 47 in a couple of months, in another month at least. I mean, and Raw to me is the OG of stand up comedy specials for me. It's like the OG kind of.
Richard
It's
Pryor
just
wouldn't be
Eddie
nothing
Murphy
without.
Raw. That shit's epic. You'll never forget. Never forget Eddie Murphy Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I got McDonald's. I got McDonald's. I never can stop hearing that. You know what I mean? When I think it, so I love Eddie Murphy Raw. That was definitely for me just at that time. Just probably just because of the era I grew up in. I know there's been so many great ones
What about
before
the
and
Italian
after
guy?
that, but it's
The Italian
but
guy
I
in the
just
fight? You know what I
absolutely
mean?
yeah, I just loved Raw. And another platform for comedians back when I was coming up, the Def Comedy Jam, man, put a lot of these
Yes.
guys on the map. We're talking
Martin
about like
Lawrence,
Dave Chappelle and
Tucker.
Bernie Mac and these
Oh
guys.
yes,
Def Comedy Jam is the show that put these guys on the map. That platform Russell Simmons provided, man, every weekend on
HBO.
HBO, man. That was definitely the show. Martin Lawrence was the host. Yeah, Def Comedy Jam put all those. Like I said, that's where these guys all were made pretty much famous. Was from the Def Comedy Jam platform. A lot of us wouldn't even know who a
Steve
lot of these
Harvey.
guys are if it wasn't for Def Comedy Jam back in the day. Steve Harvey. I mean, I remember Steve Harvey looking kind of like his first time on Def Comedy Jam. I swear to God, he came out there. Yeah, he had a suit on, but it ain't like the Steve Harvey suits now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just he looked like kind of like it's a very much a broke version of himself today. What we know of Steve Harvey today, man, and. And all
DL
these guys,
Hughley.
like I said, I remember Bernie Mac being hungry, starving out there on Def Comedy Jam, just trying to make a name for himself.
Tracy
So
Morgan.
definitely, yeah, all these guys, like you said, you can just the list goes on and on and on with these guys,
Mac. I would
man.
say this though. It's not Def Jam Comedy Jam, but it is definitely a show right now where a lot of I'm not in
What did I
the
just miss? Jesus.
I'm not in the I'm not in the nose. I'm not really that big of a fan, but I do know that Kill Tony, a lot of people coming off of Kill Tony is actually making a name for themselves, and he does give comedians a great way to start off. So obviously that's not Comedy Jam, but some with BET Comic View. I know Comedy Central had a lot of shows back in the day as well, but I'll let Mac finish his point. Let's get it.
Oh no, that was it. I was just I'm sorry. This game is just out of
Oh
control,
no,
man.
absolutely. We're about to
This
end
game
it.
is out of control.
Absolutely, we're about to end the stream here. I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining us. Shout out to everybody that
Oh
is
my
in the
God,
comments, and
Lucas.
I'm gonna let
Stout.
Mac do the honors of closing us out. Unless Adam, do you have anything else to say?
No.
All right, let's get it. All right, Mac, the mic is
All right,
yours.
but before I go, man, Luca just hit a 3-point shot, 3-pointer with three
Yeah, yes,
seconds to go on the clock. The Mavericks are now up 109, 108 with 3 seconds to go. Still anything can happen, but this game
Nope.
has been absolutely incredible, man. This game has been incredible, but like I said, this is the NBA. 3 seconds is actually that's actually quite a bit of
an
time, more than
eternity.
it seems, man. This game is awesome, man.
This
But
game is incredible. Absolutely, game is incredible. Says no less.
oh man, it has now gone to final. It has gone to final, man.
That was
But
Mavericks up 2-0.
and the Dallas Mavericks are now officially up 2-0. This game has gone to final. Dallas wins 109, 108, and an absolutely epic game two over in Minnesota. Dallas Mavericks have now put Minnesota's backs completely against that wall. This is
No
going to
Mets
be they
got
are going to be a
Mavs
tough
winning the
out.
championship.
They are going to be a tough out for whoever comes out of the Eastern Conference. Or, this series ain't over yet. I ain't trying to count Minnesota completely out, but they lose the first two at home. We saw how that affected Denver Nuggets in the last round against this same Minnesota team. So we'll see what happens, man. But that was an incredible finish, an incredible game. Luca, like I said, top 1%, man. And Kyrie Irving, he thought got to a slow start in this game, and he came back. He came on strong in the second half for his team, and he really uplifted this basketball team second half, making big shot after big shot after big shot as well. Like I said, it's about the superstars when you get in the postseason, and the Dallas Mavericks have a pair of guys that are absolute killers, man. Luka and Kyrie are killers, and that could be the difference for this team going forward, man. We'll see, but it has been quite compelling to watch. But everybody, man, this has been another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. We really appreciate you all tuning in once again on this Friday night, hanging out with the Horsemen, man. It's almost a year for our guy NYG Jeffrey T, man, the one and only Jeffrey Turner, man. He is still missed and still loved by us all, man. So we're closing in on that year anniversary of his death, unfortunately. But he's always going to still be here with us, man, in spirit, no matter what, man. Let's all please get them fours up. And you tuned in late and you want to check out what we were talking about earlier in the show. Tomorrow you can, link into the Hardcore Sports Spotify, and it should be uploaded on the Hardcore Sports Spotify channel tomorrow by sometime tomorrow as well, or you can come back look at any one of our channels. Make sure y'all come and sub up to myself, Mac the Giants fan, Zion Zenith, Adam Costas, Hardcore Sports Network. Sub up, support, show that love, man. And we'll be back next Friday for another edition of the Premium Takes podcast. Pass.